Hi everybody, so today I'm going to do a short yoga practice based on some of the postures that we're all really familiar with, basic simple postures, cat and cow and downward facing dog, everybody's favourite postures. So it's going to be a 15-minute video or so, and in the everyday series what I'm encouraging you to do is just to pop on and do one video at a time if you haven't got much time, or to combine 2 or 3 of them to make a longer practice. So you need a mat, comfy clothes. You don't need any props for this practice, so let's get started. Come to your mat and to the back of your mat into a kneeling position. We'll start here in hero pose, and when you come into hero pose, bring your knees in line with your hip joints. And place the hands on the floor directly in front of the knees. Push your tailbone down, have the tops of your feet flat on the floor, and then walk your hands nice and slowly along the mat, and let's come into an extended child's pose. Look at your hands as you reach, wiggle the fingers till your hands are nice and spread out on the mat, and then drop your chin, tuck your chin, push the tailbone towards the toes. Walk your fingertips away and take a couple of breaths here. You're going to away the out breath if that helps you to settle. And then just slowly start to rock from side to side. Over onto your right knee and then onto the left knee. Just starting to stretch out the back and the side of the ribs. And then come back to centre and relax your elbows. First thing we're going to do is a side bend. So just lift your gaze a little bit and look at your thumbs and walk your hands to the right. Keep your body low so that you're lying on top of your legs, on top of your thighs. And then with your hands shoulder width apart here, lower the head again and count a couple of breaths here. As you just have the awareness in the left side of the body opening. And we're sending the spine into a side lateral flexion here. Come up onto the fingertips of your left hand. So you've made like a spider with your left hand, and take an extra couple of breaths here and just feel that lovely open through the shoulder. Just slightly stronger stretch as you lift the palm away from the ground. Lower the hands to the floor. Walk your hands back to centre. Hopefully the left side of the body feels more open and free than the right, so let's balance that out. Walk the hands around to the left side, find your lateral flexion here. Ease by your upper arms, keep your arms extended in line with your shoulders, and find your breath here. Come up onto the fingertips of your right hand. That lifted arm position just creates a different stretch. So just notice how that feels as you breathe into that. And then lower the palms to the ground. Exhale. Walk the hands back to centre. And hopefully now the side ribs have a bit more space. And then push up onto your elbows. And walk your elbows directly underneath your shoulders. So this is a variation of cat and cow pose. Press the tops of the feet into the mat, press the knees down, press the elbows down. Look up and point your index fingers forward, cross your thumbs and interlace the rest of the fingers. Drop the belly as you look at the tips of the fingers. Slightly engage the core here so that you don't crunch the lower back. So this is the cow part of our cat and cow pose. As we arch the spine in a moment, we're going to do that with an out breath. So breathe in here. And then tuck your tail, pull the belly button up to the spine, slowly round the spine incrementally like a wave. And then look at your toes between your knees as you come up into cat pose. Breathing in as you pick up your tailbone, drop the belly, drop the ribs, and then roll the head into full spinal extension. Exhale as you tuck your tail, arch the spine as you come into full spinal flexion. One more round, breathing in, belly drops, warming up the spine, getting some nice mobilization through the spine, and breathing out as you round the back and arch. Up. and then come back to a neutral position. Flatten your hands on the floor. Pick up your right hand and push your right shoulder up. But turn your head so that you're looking at your mat. And then lower the right elbow back to the mat. Your left hand comes where your elbow was, and then you push the left shoulder up and feel the rotation through the spine. So very gentle, easy spinal twist. So we come back to our elbows position here. Inhale, the right hand comes where the elbow was and we push up the right shoulder. Exhale, bring the right elbow back where it was. Inhale, left hand comes into position and push up the left shoulder. Exhale, bring the elbow back down. Breathing in, right shoulder up. Breathing out, settle back to neutral. Breathing in, squeeze the shoulder girdle round into a twist. And breathing out, come back down. Do another round. And just be aware that your knees stay where they are, the legs stay where they are, the pelvis stays where it is. Gently engaging the core so that the lower back is supported. And one more round. See if you can push a little bit deeper, a bit higher. Last one now with the left hand, left shoulder. And then come back down. I'm going to interlace my fingers again to come up into dolphin, but you can do this position with your hands flat on the floor. This is more comfortable for my elbows, so I prefer this one. Dolphin is a modification of dog. So we tuck under the toes, we lift the knees off the mat, look at our feet as we walk the feet to a comfortable position, and then we'll just drop into one heel and then the other. Let the hips kind of rock from side to side. Settle in the centre and shake out your head. Just notice if you're holding the head and let it hang, so gravity is giving your neck a nice stretch here. Come back onto the knees, lift the head, point your fingers, cat and cow a couple of rounds. Inhale as the belly drops, exhale as we arch the spine. One more. Come to a neutral spine, back up into dolphin, and this time we're going to hold for at least 3 breaths. So settle here, soft knees, long spine. Breathe in through the nose, whoosh away the out breath through the mouth. One more, breathing in. And then slide the knees back to the ground. Walk your hands back, drop the tailbone back towards the heels, and now we're going to drop the knees out to the edges of the mat. And again, walk your hands nice and slowly away from you as you lower your body down into a wide-kneed child. And I love this posture because you can get your body down between the knees and have a little rock here from side to side. Really nice way to kind of tease open the hip joints, stretch out the groin. Settle in the middle once you've wriggled your way down towards the ground. Forehead to the floor. Bend your elbows as you bring your hands into prayer position and bring your hands to the back of the head. Toes just touching each other, crossing over. Feel that nice connection between your toes and your hands. And take a nice deep inhale here and feel how the breath comes into the side ribs. And then as you take a long sigh out breath, see if you can melt your heart towards the floor. One more in breath. One more out breath here. Lower the hands back to the mat, lift the head off the floor. Similar to what we did earlier in the other child pose, we're going to come to the right, but I'm going to press my ribs against the inner thigh as I bring my head down towards the floor. Take a breath or two here, slightly longer stretch through the left side of the body with the legs in this position. Settle, walk your fingertips away so you're getting a good stretch. And then as we did before, come up onto the left fingertips and just find that deeper stretch through the shoulder. Or at the end of your next out breath, lower the palm. Start to walk the hands back to the center. And then go all the way over to the left side. Slide the rib cage into the left thigh. You're just squeezing ribs into the thigh there. And lower the head down to where it's comfortable. A couple of breaths here as you settle. Feel the stretch through the right side. And then up onto your fingertips. And just notice the difference there between those two stretches. I find that's much stronger through my shoulder, which feels really good. Moving through the armpit and the shoulder blade. Next exhale, drop the palm back to the floor and work yourself back to the centre. And there's another lovely posture we can do from here, which is a twist. So push up onto your right hand, bring the left hand underneath the armpit, past the right knee, and then slowly lower down onto the left shoulder. And again, you can come up here onto your right fingertips. Sometimes after a breath or two, you can push up and get that hand another inch or two through. And I love this twist for the space between the shoulder blades, whole of the upper spine, getting a nice stretch here. Breathing in, press the right palm into the floor and swap sides. So walk your right hand past the left knee and the left armpit, tuck the shoulder right underneath you and lower. You can keep the left hand flat, or you can come up onto the fingertips again. As the body settles, you can maybe tug under a little bit deeper and then settle here. And then flatten the left palm, push yourself up and back into the centre. Bring your hands behind the head again. Push your tailbone towards your toes. Nice deep inhale. Exhale. Okay, bring the hands down. Interlace the fingers. Let's do dolphin one more time, and then we're going to switch to regular cat and cow and regular dog. So tuck your toes under and find your position here for dolphin. Wiggle into those heels, hips again, settle. Let the head hang between your upper arms. 3 breaths here. And down on the exhale. And then push up onto all fours, flattening your feet. Okay, so from here, let's go through full cat and cow. So cat pose is here. Press the feet, the knees and the hands into the ground as you push your spine towards the sky. Pick up your tailbone, drop the belly, let the ribs relax down, and then roll the head, opening the throat. Tuck your tail, keep your head where it is, pull the belly button back round the spine, 1 vertebra at a time, and tuck in your chin. And then pick up your tail, roll the spine into cow pose, inhale. Tuck your tail, roll into cat pose, exhale. And let's come, 1 more inhale. Pressing down into the ground, reaching the crown towards the sky. And then settle into neutral spine. Walk your hands to the right. So, different way of doing a lateral flexion for the spine. Let's walk here. Look down at your thumbs and hold. Open up the side ribs. Feel the spine curling and curving. Walk back to centre, all the way around. Keep your core gently engaged so your back's nice and flat, like a tabletop. Take a couple of breaths here. And then we're going to come back to centre. And then as we did in that widening child pose, do a little twist here. So we're going to lift up the right arm and then take it through. Don't come down, just come into this kind of twist position and then breathe in. Open up the right arm, breathe out, slide through, breathe in, open, breathe out, pull that right hand through as far as it will go, breathe in, lift, and breathe out, swap sides. Lift the left arm, breathe in, swing it through, breathe out, breathe in and breathe out. Get another couple of rounds here. Last one. Lovely. Bring both hands down again. This time you can slide the right hand past the left wrist and slide down onto the right shoulder. Relax the left arm or use that hand to push the left shoulder up and back. Creating a really deep rotation through the spine. Breathe into that. And then push yourself up. Plant the right hand where it was. Slide the left hand past the right wrist. Drop down onto the left shoulder. This arm can relax here, or you can work a bit harder by pushing the shoulder back. Weaving cat, or threading the needle. Push up on an inhale and bring the knees together. Come off your wrist, give them a little shake out. We're going to do tiger now, and for tiger I like to come onto my fists because it gives me a bit more space to swing the leg through. So engaging your core, look along the mat with your neck nice and long. Just reach that right foot behind you. Don't point the toes though, push the heel. Core engaged, keep your pelvis stable and just lift the right leg as high as it can go without twisting the hips. This is an inhale here as we extend, so breathe in, and as you breathe out, swing the knee through, nose towards the knee. Inhale, take the leg behind you, lift the head, exhale. Inhale, slide the leg back, inhale, exhale, come knee to nose, inhale, reach, exhale. Another couple of rounds. Last one. Bring the right knee down to meet the left. Pick the right knee up, straight out to the side, and then drop it down. Try to do this movement without twisting the pelvis. Breathe in, lift the leg as high as you can lift it without twisting the hips. Breathe out back to center. A couple more of these. Okay, and then a couple of rotations. Just open up that beautiful ball and socket joint in the hip there. The other way. Feel how gravity wants to pull the leg down, so the hip muscles having to work quite hard. And then let's bring the knee down, come off the wrists, give them a little shake out. Back onto your start position. Engage your core gently, awareness to your left leg as you extend it behind you. Reach it back, pushing through the heel. And then lift the leg slowly. And what a good test for this is we don't want to lift the sacrum. Sacrum stays flat. Leg goes as high as it can go without the sacrum starting to tilt. Inhale here, exhale, bring the knee through. Inhale, reach behind you as you reach the crown at the same time. Exhale, curl into a little ball. Go in your own time for another 3 or 4 rounds. Great, last one. Bring the knee down. Then knee lift. So just lift the knee out to the side without twisting the hips. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to come down. Inhale to come up. Exhale to come down. Another couple of rounds. And then circling with that leg and that hip joint. Few rotations here. And always we go in both directions. And then let's come off those wrists and give them a little squeeze. And a shake out. Let's do one more thing here from table pose. So table is when we have our start position for cat. So find your table pose. Imagine you're a beautiful, sturdy coffee table, and we have the nice 4 corners, and then we have the core gently lifted so that the lower back is flat and we're not dropping the belly. So from here, let's do a couple of little cat bows. So we're going to just bend the elbows, lift the chin, drop the chest towards the floor, and then come back up. Okay, down on an exhale, up on an inhale. Just another couple of rounds. Doesn't matter if you don't go very far. If you practice this often, you'll get a little bit stronger in the shoulders and the upper arms. Now turn the hands to face each other. Fingertips point towards each other. The middle fingers are in line with each other. This time as we drop down, the elbows go out, so slightly different, strengthening through the shoulders. Up on the inhale, down on the exhale. You might find this one easier than the first one, or a bit more difficult, doesn't matter. Persevere another couple of rounds. Last one. And then come off your wrists again. Great. Now we're going to do dog posture. So downward facing dog is really a popular pose, but often people don't know the point of it. So they think when they're in downward dog, what they're trying to do is get their heels to the floor. Well, in over 20 years of doing yoga, my heels have never touched the floor in downward dog. So what we are trying to do in downward dog is really lengthen the spine. So now we've done lots of warm-ups for the spine with the cat and cow pose, and we've done some twists and some side bends. Now we're ready for our downward dog pose. So we're going to start on all fours. Downward dog pose is an inversion. If you have a head cold coming on, if you have a headache, if you're on the first 3 days of your menstrual cycle, it's not recommended that you invert the body. So you might want to skip this one if any of those things are true for you today. You can always come back to it later. So we start here in table pose, and we have our back nice and flat. Tuck the toes, and we haven't really stretched the toes very much, so let's just ease our weight back, give those toes a little stretch. And I like to come into downward dog from quite far back on my feet, so I'm using the power of my legs rather than using my lower back muscles to come up. So look at the mat, take an inhale, engage your core as you exhale. Inhale, pick your knees off the mat and push the hips high. And then I have to walk my feet a little bit to find a comfortable pose here. And then just walk on the spot a little bit. Okay, and then settle. So soft knees, not too bent, but not straight. Don't worry about the heels. Have your ears by your upper arms. Press the feet down, press the hands down, spread the fingers, make good contact with your hands on the ground. And then actively tilt your pelvis forwards towards your thighs and push your tailbone up towards the sky. And take a couple of breaths here. And then shift your weight forward a little bit, bend the knees, drop the knees down to the mat, and come into supported child. Two soft fists underneath your forehead. Even make a little lift the thumb so you want your head in line with the heart, and just let the blood pressure come back to normal. And we're going to come back up into downward dog again, and I'm going to show you the use of a prop here, which is really useful if you find that your heels are nowhere near the floor in downward facing dog. So this little triangular prop is really good for downward dog, and I'll show you the difference now. And you can use a square block and just lean onto the edge of the block, or you can use a cushion, like quite a solid cushion, nothing too soft. So now I'm going to come from my all fours position, tuck my toes, have my toes near my triangular block, take my weight back, engage the core and out breath, push up on an in breath and move my feet and hands to a position where I'm comfortable. And now, because I've got something to push against my heels, that's it. Now I can settle, and I've got something here that gives me a bit more stability through my feet rather than balancing on the balls of my feet. So I'm going to take a couple more breaths here. So if you haven't got a prop with you, then come back into dog. This is just to show you that these are the sort of props you can use to help with your practice. Another thing you can do is take your feet a bit wider. Try taking your feet to the edges of the mat and see how that feels. See if that helps you to get more stability in the pose. And then come onto the knees. And once again, just come back into that. Two soft fists underneath your forehead and take a breath here. Okay. We're going to do a couple more postures to finish. So we're going to come into a plank pose, and then we're going to come into plank and dog and join those two postures together. So start back off in your table pose. You might want to come a little bit more forward on your mat and extend your right leg, tuck under your toes, push through the heel, engage your core really strongly, and then take your left leg back and drop your hips. So plank pose isn't with the tail here, and it's also not with the tail drop like this. You want to have a nice straight line from your ankles to your shoulders. You might want to use a mirror, or you might want to get a friend to tell you if you've got a good plank pose. Okay, so start again. We can come from table, right leg back, left leg back, drop the hips a little bit, right knee through, left knee through. So a good way to train yourself to do a plank is to move in and out from table. And the wrists don't like this very much because it's taking quite a lot of pressure. So do as many of those as you like before you come off and give your wrists a little rest. A nice way to build up a little bit of strength in the shoulders and the upper arms, and to find that fluidity of transitions between postures, because in a lot of yoga we have sequences where we're transitioning things from one posture to another. So if you come back into plank, and we'll do plank into dog and plank into dog a couple of times. So come back into your plank pose, right foot behind you and the left foot. And then shift your weight, lift up your tailbone, breathing in, and then it's quite a wide dog, but soften the knees and out breath, soften into dog. Breathe in, start to come forward onto your hands, breathe out into plank. Breathe in, push up the tailbone, soften the knees, breathe out, dog. Breathe in, lift, shift your weight, breathe out, plank. Breathe in, tailbone goes up, soften the knees, breathe out, dog. Breathe in, shift your weight, and breathe out, plank. Knees to the ground, lower your body to the floor, forehead to the floor, and wiggle yourself onto the mat. Let's finish in Sphinx pose for our last posture today. So tuck your elbows underneath your shoulders, spread your fingers, wriggle into your lower back. Then settle into the centre, tucking your chin just a little bit, keep your neck long. Take 3 breaths here and feel your back coming into that back bend. If that's pinching your lower back, squeeze your core a little bit and roll your heels in to the centre. Just engage the glutes a little bit in the buttocks. If your lower back's happy, you can relax the legs on the buttocks and let the back do the work. And then from here we're going to do a little twist. So breathe into centre, breathe out, look over your right shoulder, pull the right shoulder back and see if you can see your feet. Breathe into centre, breathe out to the left. Breathe into centre, breathe out to the right. Breathe into centre, breathe out to the left. Come back to centre, settle here. Pick up your elbows, swing them out to the sides and roll yourself down, forehead to the floor. Hands to your rib cage, push yourself up, and we'll come back where we started into extended child's pose. Stretch out your fingertips away from your shoulders. Take a breath here, and then slide your right hand back to touch your right foot. Left hand back to touch your left foot, curl into a little ball like a seed. Have a little rock here from side to side as we come to the end of our practice. Take a few nice deep breaths here. You can bring your hands into 2 soft fists if you're uncomfortable with your head this low down. And then from here, walk your hands either side of your knees. Tuck your chin as you uncurl. You can stay in child. You can go on to one of the other videos in this series, or you can lie down, bring your hands under your head, take your feet wide and settle here in crocodile pose for a few breaths. Stay where you are. Breathe into the belly. Nice deep in-breath into the belly. Nice long slow out breath, relaxing the abdomen, the lower back. 2 more breaths here into the belly. And then bring your awareness to your heart and have a few breaths here into the heart space. Breathing in, the back body opens as the breastbone meets the ground. Breathing out, melt your body, soften your body. Breathing in and then breathing out. You can stay in crocodile pose or you can push back into child again. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you again very soon. Namaste.